Hi everyone, in today's video I will take you through the process of creating a neckline while using your punch card. I will take you through the entire process, hoping to share a few tips that will help you for your future projects. So right now I have knitted the body of my garment and I am on row 73 and I need to start shaping my neckline. I put a mark on my punch card to know exactly where I need to continue my pattern for the other side of the neckline. So I'm going to put needles into holding position. So I'll put half of the neckline plus all the stitches that I will have to cast off in the center of my neckline. And that is 32, 16 each side. I'm going to cast off all these in one go. I will put my carriage into holding position and start decreasing to shape half of my neckline. My pattern will stop at some point and I will cancel my punch card, but yours might continue all the way up and that is totally doable. I will be decreasing 2 stitches every 3 rows for this particular jumper. You can see here my pattern is finished, and before I continue with my decreases and shaping my shoulder slope, I will make sure to put my punch card right where I left my mark to continue my pattern where I left off for the other side, and I will also lock it. To lock it, all I have to do for my brother is to press this little button and put it on the red dot. You will need to lock the punch card, otherwise your pattern will continue from the next row. Okay, so I'm just continuing with my decreases and with the shoulder shaping, and I will cast off this side. A nice and quick way to do that is by doing a chain stitch cast off. I have knitted my last row after shaping at the same tension, and for the cast off row or the last row, I will put my tension looser. So my tension for the body was 4 and I will knit this last row on tension 8. I will then push all the needles I have to cast off all the way out. We'll be using the latch tool to cast off like so. Make sure to start on the opposite side where your tail is, so you have what to close the last chain with. I'm making sure to secure the next stitch with my thumb, and I'm not sure how to verbally explain this technique. I really hope that the visual is enough for you. It's really not that difficult and it's a really quick way to cast off. Even though it's a bit risky, it is easy to drop stitches, but once you get used to it, you will be so fast and will not drop stitches so often anymore. You probably heard me saying before that I used to love to cast off my garment on the linker, but I think I prefer this method more now because I will also not get 2 more loose ends to tie in at the end. I always love learning new things and adapting and changing, and I also love sharing them with you all. I hope this is useful for you. So once I have finished with one side of the neckline, I will knit 1 row on all the remaining needles on the same loose tension I did for the last row on the first side, so on tension 8. I'm doing this because I want to have a loose row so I can cast off the stitches in the center of the neckline, but also to put the rest of my needles into working position, as it is quicker than to use a transfer tool to do that. We will be unraveling this row later on. I will make sure at this point to put my tension back to 4, as it is really easy to forget. It is time to cast off the 32 stitches in the center of the neckline. I will use the same chain stitch method. Before starting to cast off, a good idea is to catch the stitch from the first row we knitted after we put the center stitches on hold, and this way we'll make sure to have a nice neat finish and not such a big opening here. I will insert my latch tool through that stitch and then grab the first stitch and I will start chaining like so. Once we finished casting off the center, it is time to start shaping on the other side of the neckline. As I mentioned before, I will unravel the loose row and all my needles are now in working position. You can see that this is definitely faster than using your transfer tool to push these needles back into working position. At this point I'm going to also check if any stitches got caught into the pegs. To continue, I will press both my partial cams. This will ensure that my carriage will not knit for the next row. For the next row, all I have to do is to put my needles in the correct pattern position. I'm going to put my carriage into KC so it starts reading my punch card, but remember the punch card is already locked into the correct row, so all it's going to happen, all the needles will just come into the position that are supposed to be. And now I will go across with my carriage and my needles are where I left off with my pattern. We'll make sure to unlock my punch card now so I can continue with my pattern. We'll place my contrast yarn and press multicolor. And I will put my row counter back to row 73 where my neckline started. And now I'm ready to continue my pattern to do my decreases as I did on the other side of the neckline. I only have a few rows to do in pattern and then I'm able to cancel the punch card and continue with plain rows. Make sure when you do the decreases that you place the needles back into the correct position to make sure that the pattern continues correctly. Again, just as before, we'll knit my last row looser and we'll cast off using a chain stitch, just as I did before. And that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this video was useful for you and you've learned a couple of new things and tricks. I always love sharing new things that I learned with you so we can all learn together. Thank you so much for all the support and I will see you next time. Bye bye!